We Need to Talk strikes fear into the hearts of most.
But we're breaking down that scary declaration on the Talking Couple podcast. I'm Deshawn.
And I'm Laurie. We're married.
Both from the South, but made the cross-country move to LA.
And are busy pursuing our careers. Even with the demands of life, we aim to put our marriage first. Every other week, we share personal experiences from our own relationship to help other couples spot red flags, get fresh insight,
and ultimately strengthen their partnerships. We get real, raw, and sometimes a little uncomfortable to give you the tools to change your life. Hi there, glad you found us. Welcome to the first episode of the Talking Couple podcast, episode number 101.
So if you're in a relationship or you're looking for one, this is the show for you. It's all about setting your relationship up for success by tackling tough topics head on. You know, we're talking about money, sex, religion, trust issues.
And the in-laws.
Ooh, yeah, the in-laws. And on today's episode, you'll get to know who we are, the unique way that we met, and the question we always get asked that actually led us to start this podcast. So, you don't really know who we are yet, so why don't we share sort of a 2-minute story of who we are?
Sure, let's do it.
I want you to go first.
So, about me, well, I am Deshawn, by the way, for all you ones that don't know. I grew up in a small town in Louisiana and lived there for a few years, like 8, and then my mother moved me to Atlanta. Lived there until my 20s, and just was living life. But I grew up just like any other kid. I played sports, played football, played baseball. Didn't really get into basketball all that much. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of cool friends, and still keep in touch with them from time to time. And started my own business in my 20s, which was really good. And then 2008 hit, and that recession thing, and lost that. And so I still wanted to work and sort of be my own boss kind of deal, but I was looking for something different. And so then I decided to move to Nashville, and I became a ballroom dancer. So I danced for 10, 11 years now. Well, then, and then this is how me and this beautiful lady met.
Yeah.
And
ladies, find a man who can dance.
That's how you do it. That's the secret. Dancing is the key. So yeah, and then as we develop more, you'll get to share more about. But
yeah, you'll learn more about us. But yeah, you were really good at sports, so I hear. Thought you would go to college and maybe.
Yeah, playing, and tore my ACL my senior year, so that didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to, and so I just started to work, and I was like, well, I need to make money, get a job, and didn't have a scholarship, and yeah, that old adulting thing. But it happens, and that's life.
Yeah, so is life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I took a different path, obviously. I am the exact opposite of Deshawn. I'm horrible at organized sports. I'm afraid of the ball. I jammed my finger the last time we tried to play football.
Well, just
catch football, yeah. So definitely didn't go that route. But I actually grew up in a small town in Kentucky, the youngest of 3 girls. And it's kind of weird because even as a little kid, I can remember feeling very restless and thinking man, I need to get out of here. I'm destined for something great. And I didn't really understand what that meant, or, all I knew is that I wanted to go somewhere and do something different. And so, and I should say too that I was raised by a perfectionist. So I'm kind of a recovering perfectionist. Yeah.
We'll get into that at a later date.
And so, I knew pretty early on what I wanted to do, or I thought I did at least, and became a news reporter and wanted to be a news reporter, news anchor, and, be the next Joan London, if you guys are old enough to remember who she is, on Good Morning America. And at about 25, I hit a quarter life crisis, if you will. I had no idea that was such a thing, but realized that I wasn't happy and didn't really understand like all that because it was, you know, first time really being an adult out of college and working and figuring out who I was and living alone and all of that. But that prompted the move back to Nashville, where I had been, you know, I went to college in Nashville. So that prompted the move back to Nashville and a different sort of career path.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sort of been on that same career path ever since. But that was definitely, I guess, a life changing moment and sort of altered the path of the rest of my life. I definitely could see people that I worked with in the TV business, and I didn't want to be like them at their age. You know, not a lot of people took really good care of their health, and not a lot of people seemed super happy, and high rate of divorce, and all of those things, and just the stress and the toll it took on me. Just decided that I wanted something different. So coming back to Nashville is what ultimately led me to meeting you. So it was the best decision of my life.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
So that might have been longer than 2 minutes, but
well, it's our show, so we
hey,
can make it
right.
as long as we like.
So I guess that gives people a little flavor of like who we are, but they don't necessarily know how we met. And it's kind of one of my favorite stories, actually. Mm-hmm. So you better tell it right.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. So we met dancing. She came into the studio. She wanted to dance, and so I was able to partner with her.
You were an instructor.
I was an instructor, and we danced together for about a year and a half before anything actually came about. It was just, you know, just all about dancing, just having a good time. And then one thing happened. It's like we started to, I guess, have like a little bit more of an involved relationship. There's like more feelings were coming along, stronger connection, and it was just like, hey, you want to go ahead and give this a shot? And it was sort of like, all right, sure. And then I moved to Atlanta.
Yeah, so start dating somebody and then try the long distance thing for 6 months. But it actually, I think, worked in our favor because we already knew each other, you know, for a good period of time. And then, you know, we were dating and figuring that weird transition out from like not dating and knowing each other to dating.
That was kind of
like, how do we, you know, we got to set boundaries and, you know, what, you know, this is a little different, but, and then you moved for your job, and it was actually kind of cool because I would look forward to every couple weeks, you know, driving the 4-hour trek to Atlanta and just
getting out,
enjoying his company. We wouldn't have anything to do per se, like no chores, no errands, no life getting in the way, and we would just hang out and watch movies and
go dancing.
Yeah.
Which was super fun because Atlanta had a lot of cool clubs.
In fact, like, we still will like reminisce about that time and be like, oh, I just want things to be easy like it was when you were in Atlanta, and let's just go back to that time. And everything was so simple then. And yeah. No, probably didn't feel that simple at the time, but looking back, it felt pretty simple.
That was super nice.
So then, then you ended up back in Nashville, thankfully, and somewhere along the way we decided, you know what, we really like this. I really like you. We should get married.
Yeah. Oh no, what did we do?
What did your mom say whenever you called? To tell her we were engaged?
Oh, first thing she always asked was, when am I having a grandchild? I was like, no, that's not even close.
But before that, she asked, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, she was like, yeah, are you ready? I was like, well, what else are we going to do? We've been dating for a couple of years, and we've already known each other, and so it just makes sense. Like, if you know it's there, then do it. If it's right, it's right, you know?
Yeah, I think we get a question a lot about, like, or we have people come up to us a lot, or people have, you know, even strangers that we don't really know will say like, oh my gosh, like, because when we go out, we love to like have a good time. We like to be the life of the party in a crowd. We just have energy, and you know, I don't know, we bring out, I guess, the best in each other when we're out and about, and you know, we'll go out dancing and things like that. And people a lot of times will come up just like unprovoked and be like, oh my gosh, like you guys are so cute, or oh my gosh, like you can so tell that you're in love. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like the ultimate compliment because we're not even trying to be, we're just being us out, not even realizing that anybody's like watching us or paying attention. And so that got me thinking, like, well, what is it about us that makes us work? Are we really unique, or like, what is it about us that people are drawn to? And
Yeah.
we've heard that from even people that are pretty close to us, like our trainer that we see day in day out. With when we're grumpy and happy, and when we're sweaty or
Yeah.
quiet and
What?
half asleep. And he even said, you guys should really like
Share.
and like work with young couples, like
Just get. I don't like.
share our experiences. So I guess all that to say, I don't really know what it is that makes us work, but that's kind of what led us to do this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
Do you have
being-
thoughts on like what makes us work so well?
I just think it's like because we do the things that we want to do, and we don't necessarily follow the norm. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we met in a unnormal situation. We battled like long distance relationship in the beginning. We went through all the, I guess, bad things, and
We
our
also
relationship
like
up front, but we always talk about it. We're always like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I have going on. How do you feel about this? It's never like, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. It's just a matter of like, what can we do to make the situation better? And so,
I think from pretty early on, and I think we'll have several episodes that kind of go into this a little bit more in depth, but from pretty early on, and hence the name of the podcast and sort of the whole purpose of this podcast, but we put it all out on the table because I'm 5 years older. I probably shouldn't say that, but and I was also a little bit older, like especially compared to the South, where
Yeah.
people get married much younger than they do sometimes in other parts of the country. But I had already kind of been single for a while, been through some breakups, done a lot of work on myself. And so by the time that we got together, and neither one of us were really looking for anything,
no,
we were like, well, I'm not just doing this for the heck of it or for fun. Like, if we're gonna do this, then we really need to be serious about like, is this gonna work? And so literally, I can remember on one of our like first or second dates, basically saying, look, I know this probably shouldn't, maybe this is kind of rare to come up in conversation this early, but I don't really think I want kids. Are you okay with that? Because it's a deal breaker for so many people, and especially in the South, and not just the South, but really everywhere.
Yeah.
Kids are just such an expected next step.
That's not a next step for me.
Right.
It wasn't.
So,
I was just like, okay, that's cool. Well, what's next? Like, all right, kids. Then we're talking about money. We're talking about what's the extra baggage. Like, do we have all those things? No, I did all like fixing myself in the beginning before we actually got together. So it's just a matter of like.
Well, I think everybody has baggage, but
Well, not
mean,
necessarily like bag. I don't know, but it's all to me is the same. There's no like skeletons in the closet. There's no, hey, I'm hiding something and. Just
But that's because we talked about it. I mean, we literally like put everything out there. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. So I'm thinking, I think that is one of the things that makes us work or has made us work over the years is because everything's like you said out on the table, and that took the pressure off of like expectations pretty early on, and we were on the same page, because I think that the minute you get off the same page, heck, sometimes you're in the wrong, like totally wrong chapter, much less the same page.
You're probably in a different book.
That's when things really start to get rocky. So And it has to evolve, right? Because our lives have changed since we've gotten together, and so we have to continually remind ourselves to like put it out all on the table.
Constantly working on it. It's just like, how are you feeling? What's going on? Why aren't why are things the way they are? And so you just gotta continue to.
Why have we been yelling at each other for the last 5 days this week?
Yeah.
All that good stuff.
I know.
And then like you gotta step back, rebalance, and be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like I don't like the place we're in right now. Let's talk it out. Let's walk it out.
Yeah, let's
talk
walk
it out
and
and
talk.
walk it out.
Walk and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta walk it to talk it, and then you work it out.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep it.
Okay, all right, I will. Maybe we should hashtag that. But yeah, so that's a little bit about why we started the podcast, and maybe like a hint, I guess, of some of the topics that we are going to talk about. You know, obviously the big ones that we talked about early on: kids or no kids, money and finances. You know, with us being an interracial relationship, you know, where are there potential issues that might come about with that?
Our faith, spirituality, sex, mental health, there's just a lot of things. And then like goal settings and just understanding like where each other is at. Like, where do you see yourself in like the next couple years? What do you see yourself in like 10 years? How do you see our relationship? Like all those things.
Yeah, because we certainly, I mean, part of our personalities, you know, which mesh well together, I think, is that we are constantly trying to push ourselves and also each other as a couple. And so can't wait to share in another episode coming soon about this really cool like goal setting retreat that we did. Took a road trip, took a bunch of post-it notes and Sharpies, got some music, and literally like locked ourselves away, out at the hotel pool, and wrote out, 10-year, 1 year,
8-year,
monthly, and
daily
goals.
Pretty much like the whole shebang of like, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to get it accomplished, and you do it together. And so I think that's like really cool, is the fact that like we can both see where we want to go, and like we can build something together, because I don't think a lot of people are able to do that, knowing that they've got little ones, they've got different views, but yet they're still trying to live under the same. And like I just think once you add so many extra variables in there,
it's complicated. Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget, we went through like premarital counseling before we got married, and we had this little workbook to fill out, and it had never had occurred to me that couples could actually like be together but not enjoy spending time together. And so one of the like areas of the workbook that we took an assessment on, and then they compared our scores to see how we scored up, was the area of quality time. And she was like, wow, your scores are really, really high in this area. Like, you really do enjoy spending time together. And we kind of looked at each other like, well,
why wouldn't we?
Yeah, like, of course. Like, we love to do things together. Now we have our own interests and hobbies, of course, but
there are not a lot of differences.
Yeah. So she laughed and was like, you would be surprised. There are some couples that can't find anything in common that they like to do. So that was like a real eye-opener.
Then it's like, why would you want to get together with someone that
you don't like to spend time with? But I think it's more common than you realize, because I started thinking kind of back to prior relationships, or even friends or colleagues that I know, and it can be pretty easy to like fall into that trap. I think if I like to go shopping and you like to watch sports, or if I like to go horseback riding and you like to go hiking, and we each have totally different hobbies and interests, I guess it's not that uncommon, but thankfully for us, that's not an issue. But I would just say that if you're in a relationship and you don't have any common interests, really work hard to find something that can sort of like bring you together,
Ah.
where it doesn't feel like a sacrifice for one or the other.
Yeah. Or I think you would just not need to be in that
Well,
relationship.
it's
Because-
certainly a red flag, I think, if you're starting out in a relationship and you just do your own things and you're not really interested in what the other person does
Yeah, because you're gonna be with them for like
the rest of
Ever.
your life. You hope.
not
I
like
mean,
oh, we're just gonna hang out, let's get married for 20 days and then say like that's you're just wasting time.
yeah. And I will say, like, that's definitely not been that was not on our agenda. And I know everybody says this, but we were very adamant and serious about we're getting married and we're doing this one time.
One and done.
One
There's
and done.
no like I'm on number 5. One and done.
Yeah.
So
All right, so I guess we should probably wrap things up just so we don't
talk for
Talk
like
forever.
12 hours.
even though we probably could.
But
So
then
we
wouldn't have a show.
we'll normally close the show with questions from listeners. So you can send those to us at feedback@thetalkingcouple.com. But we thought for our first episode that we would leave you with a few of our favorite things.
Yes, favorite things.
And that makes me want to sing that song from Sound of Music.
No, I don't know.
I was waiting for
I
that.
tried. No, I'm not gonna go. So, I guess favorite things about each other from each other. So, I guess I'll go first.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go first.
What are you going to say?
So, my favorite thing about this young lady here is her eyeballs and her ankles.
Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not surprised that you would say ankles?
Well, I don't know. Why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Good, you shouldn't be, because as you should know, I'm a dancer, and you gotta have strong ankles. Because why? When we dance and you have bad ankles, then you can't move your feet, and it's just bad dancing.
I do have to tell an embarrassing story on myself, though. So we weren't dating yet. You were my dance teacher, and I ordered some ballroom shoes, which they're like these satin shoes with heels, and they're kind of difficult to get on, especially when you first put them on, because you order the size much smaller than your actual foot because they stretch out.
But then some people don't like to listen. They're like, these shoes are too small. It's like, nope, they're fitting fine. Just
Yeah. So I listened, and you had to show me how to put them on, and put the strap around and hook it into the buckle. It's a little bit different than a normal shoe. So I was like, no, I've got it, and he was adamant. I guess it was like a policy at the studio that the gentleman puts the shoe on the lady. So it was a total Cinderella moment, which most people would be like thrilled about, except that I had on long pants and I hadn't shaved.
You had leggings on.
No, I had pants on. I hadn't shaved in a couple of days, and so my legs were hairy. And so he grabs my ankle to put the shoe on, and all I could think was, oh my gosh, I have hairy legs. Ah.
That didn't matter to me.
Yeah, you were fixated on my ankles. Yeah. Okay.
Ankles are good.
All right, for me, my favorite thing about you would be funny that yours are like physical things and mine are not. That's such a guy-gal thing. But anyway.
I had no idea.
This guy right here, my favorite thing, and probably why we work so well, is that you stay calm and you don't overreact when I overreact. And that's like a lifesaver.
Got to.
Lifesaver skill right there.
I tried.
That's good. All right, what about an item or a thing that you love?
I think you should go this time.
Okay. This one's easy for me, because anybody who knows me very well knows that I love pizza. All kinds of pizza. And if I could eat pizza 3 meals a day, I would. It's the best. Regular, like deep dish, thin crust, New York style, pizza rolls, pizza pockets, Domino's pizza, Papa John's pizza.
Anything with pizza in it,
Pizza.
she's all about it.
Yep.
So, an item I love, well, you guys have been seeing it pretty much the whole show.
If you're watching on
which is
YouTube.
My Saints Cup.
If you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening to our
if
podcast.
you're listening to us, it's a insulated plastic Saints Cup, and I pretty much go everywhere with that thing. I take it to parties, and it's like, oh, you need a cup? Nope, I brought my own.
New Orleans Saints.
Yes, I am that guy. I am definitely that guy that will go to a friend's house and be like, oh, yeah, you need a drink? Nope, I came prepared.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, I need a cup. Well, I don't need a cup.
Yeah, and it's the best. I agree, because I have one too. But mine is St. Louis Cardinals. Yours is New Orleans Saints. But those cups, they're great. They're easy to wash. They keep everything cold.
And
They have a straw.
You don't have to worry about, oh, is this my cup? No. Yes, it is my cup, because I'm the only one with that cup.
Yep, I can see that. Yep, good one. And then something that you love that everyone else hates.
Probably ankles again.
You can't give the same answer twice.
Why not?
Do people hate ankles?
People don't like cankles.
That's true.
But people don't like feet, and that's like a part of the
Close.
foot and that joint right there. I'm just saying, if you can't flex, then you're just having bad walking problems.
True.
And what if you needed to get away quickly? You just couldn't.
Okay.
You gotta have strong ankles.
I think we can all agree that you like ankles then.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, all right. But not a foot fetish.
Oh, heavens no.
Okay. Something that I actually love that I know 90% of people in this world hate is public speaking.
Well,
But like that's part of my job and part of, kind of like how I grew up and so I actually love that adrenaline rush from public speaking. I love like the process of putting together a presentation. I love educating somebody on something that they didn't already know about.
So I guess we're going to sign off now.
Yeah, and be sure to join us on our next episode of The Talking Couple. We're going to get really honest and a little bit vulnerable about stress and anxiety. And there's certainly no shortage of that going on around now because so many things are outside of our control.
Yeah, definitely.
With the current situation. So more to come on that. And we hope you have a good day, good week.
So like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for the Talking Couple podcast.
We have a favor to ask. Please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to The Talking Couple. We'd love to hear from you.
You can also find us on social media. We are The Talking Couple on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.